I've not really played any Sonic the Hedgehog games in my life, but from what I've seen about the series, the character seems to be having a long and hard pause transition to 3D gaming. There have been a couple hits, like the Sonic Adventure games, and the less of a hit, but still reasonably successful, I would say, based on reviews, Sonic Frontiers. But overall, due to the lack of success, Sonic fans have been left largely unsatisfied. And that means there's kind of a hole in the segment for fans who want a good 3D Sonic-esque game. This is where Haste comes into play. I first discovered Haste through Game Informer, and they posted a video of some gameplay of it. No, I will openly admit this is not really my type of game, but the overall vibe and the color palette of the game looked really cool and hooked me in, and especially since it is only a $20 game, I figured I'd give it a whirl. So let's not waste any more time and talk about Haste. Haste was developed and published by Landfall Games and was released on April 1st, 2025 for Windows PCs, Linux PCs, and Macs. I obviously played on my Windows PC, so all footage you are seeing is from that machine, recorded using OBS. I also played a good chunk of this on my Lenovo Legion Go, and it ran like a dream on that machine. In Haste, you play as Zoe, a letter carrier who is capable of running very fast. As Zoe, you and your friends are encountering the end of the world, and it is up to you to stop it. And yes, that is really it from what I've played. It is just that simple, which is the perfect transition into my biggest gripe with this game. The story is very basic and virtually non-existent. I almost think that Landfall had an idea for a game with this type of gameplay, and they wanted to execute on that, and then just slapped a story on at the very end. Especially since, you could basically remove every character from the game, be left with just Zoe, and virtually nothing would change at all. And 100% of the story is told through dialogue from the characters. There are no real cutscenes or voice acting or anything, it's all text boxes. And it's all very basic and just really didn't do it for me. I honestly would have probably rather had no story at all, because I feel like in a game like this, you don't really need a story. The draw in this case is the gameplay, so what is wrong with just having that? Obviously, this is a unique situation, as a good story is a big draw for me to play a game, and is 99% of the time what I'm looking for in a single player game, but I would rather have no story at all than a half-assed one. And while we are on gameplay, they really kind of took the formula here and beat it like a dead horse, in the sense that there's not a lot of variation at all. So I've described this game as a 3D speed platformer roguelite. You enter shards and choose your own path to the finish from a map of little runs, stopping at a shop to spend some currency you get in the field and a health regain spot when you are able. And every shard is finished off by a boss fight, and this is literally it. Throughout the story of Haste, the only time there is variation from this formula is the absolute last part of the game, where there is a boss fight that isn't one of the recycled ones. And yes, there are recycled bosses. The story consists of a total of 10 shards, and each shard ends with one of 3 boss fights. And yes, well, the first 9 I should say, and yes, they do repeat. The bosses might get a little more difficult each time you encounter them, but the process of beating them, as for their weak spots and where to go and what to hit, is 100% the same. Whatever your strategy was the first time you fought them, it'll work for the second and third fight against them. And then pair this with the general running and quote-unquote normal levels of the game being incredibly similar. I was very quickly finding myself bored with Haste and its core gameplay. If what you are seeing on screen looks fun to you, I implore you to play this game because you will get plenty of it. But for me, the game got very samey very quickly. With that being said, there's one aspect of this game, dear God, that absolutely blew my socks off. Holy fuck. And that is the soundtrack. I mentioned last week in my South of Midnight review, link in description, that it has a very good soundtrack, but not necessarily the best I've ever heard. But Haste, let me tell you, Haste, I do not keep a ranking or anything, so I can't definitively say this, but as far as I can remember right now, Haste very, very potentially has the best in-game soundtrack I have ever heard. If it wasn't for the soundtrack of this game, I really would not have enjoyed my time with it. I felt genuine excitement when jumping into a run just to hear whatever song was playing. Going through the soundtrack, some of my personal faves are the Through the Glades songs, and the Above the Trees Part 1. And even some that aren't on the official soundtrack, like the shop theme. And the ethereal level themes. Like, seriously, I cannot stress how good this soundtrack is, and it is by far and away the best part about this game, in my opinion. By far and away. This soundtrack was composed by Carl Fludden and Eric Lidding, and based on a quick Google search, and not a lot of research beyond that, I'll be honest, it seems Carl Fludden has done some work with the studio before, and Eric Lidding, this might be his first game composing. I don't know. Not a lot of info on that guy out there. But if these two are new to the video game soundtrack and scoring world, and they can keep making soundtracks as good as this, holy fucking shit. They are two of the best to ever do it. Even if this is their whole body of work, they still might be two of the best to ever do it. Well done, gentlemen. Well fucking done. And that is really all I have to say on Haste. It is a short, simple game. I beat it in just under 8 hours, and I'm kind of bad at it. If someone told me they beat this game in an afternoon, I would assume they are very good at the game, but I would also 100% believe it. If you really only stuck to the main story and didn't dally too much outside of that, and you were pretty good and didn't die a lot, someone could 100% beat this game. Okay, not like beat it 100%, but like totally could beat this game in half the time it took me. It truly is short, but it wasn't all that sweet for me. The gameplay, what the fuck? The gameplay just lacked variation and kind of excitement in the long term for me. And if it wasn't for the soundtrack, I really wouldn't have any major compliments to give Haste. I mean, low-key, the soundtrack was kind of my main motivation to keep playing, so I get to keep hearing those stellar bops. I love the color palette and how vibrant it is, and the sense of speed is good, but I mean, that's kind of expected in a game like this, and that's really about the only compliments I have to give the game. The rest of the game just kind of fell flat for me, but by all means, if it seems like something you would like, give it a try. If you are a Sonic fan and got a need for speed, give it a try. It's cheap and you may really like it. But for me personally, when it comes to Haste, I was hastily waiting for it to be over for the most part. Yeah, Haste didn't really do it for me, but I'm not really a Sonic fan, so I have no issue saying this game was not made for me, and I have no issue if people enjoy it. But hopefully you enjoyed watching this video. Thank you so much for watching this short and sweet video and giving me your time and attention. I appreciate it so much. If you like this video, please do hit that thumbs up button. It goes a very long way for us here at Milkman Media. Next, I will be taking on Doom: The Dark Ages, a game I have been much looking forward to playing ever since it was revealed. To time of writing, I am a handful of hours in, and although I'm having tons of fun with it, it may not be the game I was hoping for. But more on that when the video comes out, so make sure you subscribe to the channel so you can see that video when it does come out, as well as for all your other food and gaming needs. And hitting the post notification bell never hurt anyone, right? You know, just saying. Lastly, I would love to hear what you think about Haste. I am always extra excited to hear about games I didn't necessarily vibe with, because I love hearing why people who did like it felt that way. So if you did like Haste, please let's talk in the comments. Or if you are like me and didn't like it, I'm happy to hear what you have to say as well. Or if there's anything else in your mind, I'm happy to talk about anything. Please, I'm desperate for attention. Thank you so much again for watching this video, and as always, I'll see you in the next one.